Which marine creature, according to legend, brings bad luck upon encounter? How did the mysterious Yanaguni monument come about? And is it true that the Egyptian pyramids were underwater for a long time? Stay tuned until the end to find out. In this episode, I'll share the most interesting and frightening ocean discoveries. We'll start with some very strange remains found at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea. According to the video author, the footage was obtained during an expedition searching for ancient traces. One theory suggests that this skeleton is indeed ancient, justifying the expenses. However, proponents of another theory believe otherwise. They think these remains belong to an unknown giant creature that inhabited the waters just a few decades ago. People used artificial intelligence to analyze the remains. What do you think these bones really belong to? A sea serpent or a similar incredible monster? NASA experts believe these are traces of a recently living creature, which is why they halted all local research. They feared that divers or expensive equipment might be attacked with no chance to respond. Do you think they did the right thing? Let us know in the comments. Monster tracks. No, I won't continue the previous topic. Scientists used these two words to describe a completely different find discovered at great depth. Mexican divers found the teeth of a real prehistoric shark. Many consider the megalodon the largest predatory fish in Earth's history, making its teeth highly valuable. Besides the scientific significance, this find is important as it supports the theory that the Yucatan state capital was once underwater. Divers found a total of 15 fossils, 13 of which were teeth from 3 different ancient shark species, including the giant megalodon. They also found a vertebra from an extinct animal and ancient bones resembling human bones. Since humans only started appearing on Earth when the megalodon went extinct, these could be remains of aliens or representatives of an unknown higher race. Speaking of ancient races, in 2023, deep-sea researchers found a genuine underwater stone road off the coast of a Croatian island. Scientists believe the road could have been built in the Neolithic era about 7,000 years ago. It lies at a depth of 16 feet underwater, and its width is about 13 feet. Archaeologists believe the road is linked to an ancient civilization, possibly built by the Havar culture. Researchers are currently trying to determine where the road led. If successful, incredible secrets may be revealed. Piglet squid. That's what internet users call the next creature captured underwater. Encountering this type of squid is considered a great luck. They're very small, growing only up to 4 inches in length. Young ones live at a depth of up to 650 feet, while adults can descend to the ocean floor. In our video, the squid was found at a depth of 4,500 feet. The footage shows the animal's black eyes and tentacles standing up on its head. Its body has a round, transparent form, as if the creature is inflated like a balloon. It also has a small, curly tail, which is how it got its name. Unfortunately, there's no other information about the piglet squid. It's unknown whether it's dangerous, what it eats, or how it lives. But if you have any guesses, don't hesitate to share them in the comments. The mystery of the Egyptian pyramids. You might be wondering how pyramids fit into a video about underwater discoveries. Well, there's a theory that the famous pyramids of Giza were once underwater. Yes, I'm talking about the same complex near Cairo. It's generally believed that these structures were created during the Old Kingdom of ancient Egypt under the 4th to 6th dynasties. However, recent findings have sparked an alternative theory. Look at these remains. The first image shows what might be the bones of extinct sea urchins, and the second shows their exoskeleton. All these fossils were found on the Giza Plateau with no prior human contact. This implies that marine creatures naturally appeared on the plateau in Egypt. But how is that possible? The only plausible explanation is that the pyramids of Giza were once underwater where sea urchins swam. This isn't the first time the suggestion's been made that Egypt's great monuments were built in a much older era than currently believed. Some experts in the early 90s speculated that the Great Sphinx of Giza is thousands of years older than traditionally thought and was created around 7,000 to 11,000 years ago. Egyptologists, geologists, and other specialists have rejected the hypothesis of water erosion and the idea of an older sphinx, citing archaeological, climatological, and geological evidence to the contrary. But now, people might revisit this question. A popular subject of debate and discussion to this day is Yonaguni. This massive underwater formation was discovered near the Japanese island of Yonaguni, the westernmost of the Ryukyu Islands. The interest in this formation stems from the fact that no one can definitively say how, when, or by whom it was created. Is it a completely natural formation? Or does it have partial or complete artificial origins? Unsurprisingly, Yonaguni is a popular spot for divers. Every experienced diver wants to touch history and see the ancient formation with their own eyes. According to most experts, it's a man-made pyramidal structure, the remnants of a vanished ancient civilization. It's likely that people even lived in this monument. However, supporters of this theory have gone further. They believe that the pyramid proves the existence of the continent of Mu, which legend says sank after a catastrophic event. To support these theories, researchers cite traces of tools, drainage channels, gates, staircases, and the remains of a massive bas-relief with animal silhouettes. They also claim to have found ruins of several buildings, including small temples, a possible arena, and the outlines of roads that connected them. Based on collected information, specialists concluded that the submerged city of Yonaguni is 2,000 to 3,000 years old and may be related to pyramid construction. It's possible that people lived underwater and built pyramidal structures there. If true, the pyramids of Giza could also have been built underwater. But don't rush to conclusions, as some scientists still believe in the natural origin of the object. They argue that the monolith's straight lines may indicate a natural erosion process. After all, nature can create beautiful anomalies. Occasionally, a discovery can't be attributed to natural factors. Sometimes archaeologists unanimously agree they've found something ancient and remarkable that could soon change history. One such object, found at depth, is this shipyard. The oldest known shipyard was 5,500 years old, and this one is 2,500 years older. It was first spotted in 2005, but only now have researchers developed technologies to study it in detail and create a 3D model of the ancient landscape and construction site. It's incredible that Stone Age people knew how to make boats and even built shipyards. Perhaps there's an error in the history described by our scientists, or maybe aliens helped create this marvel. Underwater lakes. It sounds strange, but they exist. However, after learning more about these lakes, you might not want to swim in them. Essentially, they are underwater anoxic pools where microorganisms live and reproduce. This is a great example of life emerging in the most hostile conditions. The amazing underwater lakes were found in the northern Red Sea. They're truly rare and hold secrets about how the oceans formed on Earth millions of years ago. They also provide important clues about possible life on other planets. The discovery was made at a depth of 5,577 feet. Located close to the shoreline, these extremely salty pools are completely oxygen-free and contain information about tsunamis, sudden floods, and earthquakes that occurred thousands of years ago. Studying these highly saline points and the organisms living in them could reveal new insights about other forms of life and bring us closer to encountering aliens. Did someone mention aliens? Here they are. And there's no need to study underwater lakes. Aliens are in plain sight. Just kidding, but scientists still can't explain what's happening in this video. Random tourists filmed a strange, very bright light emanating from the depths. According to the video's author, he and his friends tried to dive underwater to see what was glowing. However, their attempts were unsuccessful because the mysterious object was at the bottom, making it impossible to reach. Naturally, the most popular theory is that aliens are responsible for the bright green light from the ocean floor. No government works were happening in that area, and no objects had sunk there. If you have your own theories, be sure to share them in the comments. We'll move on to another proof of alien life underwater. By the way, all these discoveries are interconnected. People found evidence of underwater pyramid construction. Then they discovered a strange glow from the ocean floor. Now we see an old recording made by a military ship showing a mysterious spherical object slowly descending from the sky into the water. According to the military, the object moved at varying speeds, indicating a controlled flight rather than a fall from the sky. This video supports the theory that UFOs are universal vehicles capable of functioning both in the air and underwater. There's also a chance that aliens or representatives of another advanced race still live at the bottom of the world's oceans, in places we won't reach anytime soon. This would explain the underwater pyramids, strange artifacts regularly found underwater, the glow from the ocean floor, and this video recorded by a military ship. I don't know about you, but I think this theory is plausible. I don't believe humans are the only intelligent beings and that no alien creatures surpass us in development. Give a thumbs up if you also hope we'll meet aliens in the next 50 years. Toothy One. This is the next naturally occurring underwater creature discovered by humans. To be precise, it was caught by a fisherman. The man is an experienced angler who has encountered many strange and frightening creatures, but this one exceeded all his expectations. The monster had countless teeth, which, surprisingly, it loses daily. Scientists say the toothy fish can lose up to 20 teeth a day, but don't worry, it'll grow new ones by the next day. Instead of the incisors, molars, and canines we're used to seeing, it has hundreds of almost microscopic teeth lining its jaws. These teeth are used both to attack opponents and to chew food. What surprised me is that scientists have long known that such a fish lose and grow new teeth, but no one knows exactly how they do it. Do you remember the mysterious snake skeleton I showed you earlier, which led scientists to halt their research? This fish, according to witnesses, also seemed like a harbinger of disaster, causing people to quickly leave the water and stay out for a long time. The video shows divers surrounding a giant, shiny fish that doesn't swim but seems to hover in the water. The divers studied the strange creature with interest until they realized it was a giant oarfish. Yep, this is the fish considered the longest bony fish currently known. The largest recorded oarfish reached an incredible 36 feet in length and weighed about 595 pounds. In the video, the fish was not moving in a unique way. This style is natural for oarfish. They swim vertically with their heads proudly raised. To an observer, it appears as a simple long ribbon descending to the depth or rising to the surface. They can swim horizontally, but do so rarely. Their grand crown serves as a single fin. It's easy to guess that they can't develop much speed under these conditions, so if they need to accelerate, they start wriggling like a snake, which sometimes looks funny. How does a creature capable of taking on the forms of various marine animals look? Is there really a spaghetti monster? And what's the mysterious purple orb that lives at the bottom of the ocean? Next, you'll see the most inexplicable creatures discovered in the depths of the ocean. Underwater flower. Few people would have thought that somewhere deep underwater, a lone flower, unlike any known plant, could be found. However, this is the case. Researchers made an amazing discovery, sinking to a depth of about 2.5 miles in the area of Hawaii. First of all, people thought that this is one of the representatives of jellyfish. But then it turned out that creatures of this species have so far been found only in the Atlantic and Indian Oceans. So there's no information about the monster in the video. It's either a jellyfish unknown to science, or a real flower, or even a guest from another planet. Write in the comments, what do you think about it? Purple ball. And here's another no less mysterious discovery made near the coast of California. There, at great depths, people found a similar purple ball, which didn't resemble any organism known to modern science. Its diameter was about 2 inches. According to experts, they tried to bring the ball on board. To do this, people used a vacuum system, but as soon as the item was on board, it split into 2 parts. Could it have been an alien spy with a function of self-destruction? There's a lot of speculation about that ball or flower underwater, but I'll tell you this, when scientists encounter something as rare as this, but known to humans, it makes me feel a little better about myself. Mysterious monsters make me tired. Another thing here, a rare but understandable to us all jellyfish, which was filmed off the coast of New Ireland. Appreciate its unique appearance in the comments. It's beautiful, isn't it? Blobfish. A person who is not well acquainted with the animal world, hearing this name for the first time, will think that it's about some small and cute creature. With the former, he's not wrong. The blobfish does not exceed 12 inches in length and weighs usually no more than 4.5 pounds. Anyway, I would argue that it's cute. Some consider this creature to be the ugliest of all the world's fauna. In fact, we can see an incomprehensible and sad face in front of us. Spending almost all its time at great depths, it breathes there without the help of an air bubble. By the way, it produces a gelatinous gel it consists of. Without this substance, it'd be difficult to withstand the water column and swim. Although it's hard to call these awkward movements the creature makes swimming, it doesn't have muscles. Lord Vader. Do you know what that's called? It's an unspoken name given to giant isopods that are regularly found at great depths. The thing is that if you look at the front of the head of one of these species, you can see the outline of Darth Vader's helmet, hence the name. In addition to this, giant isopods are very good at defense. In case of danger, these creatures curl up into a ball to protect soft tissue. They also have 7 pairs of legs. The front one of them is needed to push food into their 4 pairs of paws. Squidworm. When you hear this name, there's some dissonance in your head because you can't imagine any creature that fits this name. At the same time, Mother Nature proves to us that everything is possible in this life, even the squidworm. There's really nothing to say about it. It's not yet a studied monster from the depths about which there's almost no accurate information. So I suggest we just enjoy it for a couple more seconds and move on. Yeti. And there's plenty of information about this ancient and mighty monster. But okay, what is the Yeti? Of course, I'm kidding. Scientists named these crabs because of their too hairy appearance. They look like Yeti, don't you think? In fact, I found another similarity. Just like the Yeti, these crabs are hard to find because they live at great depths, about 1.2 miles. The pressure is off the charts. The temperature jumps to 752 degrees Fahrenheit in some places. And the water is a cauldron of chemicals. I wouldn't want to be there. Blue dragon. And this is probably one of the most beautiful creatures I've ever seen. It's a pity that the blue dragon is also found at great depths, and we cannot see it more often. The name of this handsome creature is Glaucus atlanticus, and it's a sea slug, in other words a jellyfish eater, although you wouldn't know it from its appearance. Disguise Master. I used to think that this word combination suits exclusively to chameleons. They're such unique guys. But as it turns out, there are no less dignified creatures in the world as well, belonging to deep-sea octopuses. This actor is able to imitate more than 15 species of other marine animals, picking up each time a new strategy for hunting and defense. And this creature is called exactly as beautiful as it looks. However, despite the word angel in the name, we can see a predatory organism which is always in search of fresh devils. Okay, I'm kidding. Or am I? It turns out that in the harsh Arctic waters, the sea angel regularly hunts gastropods, sea butterflies. And I don't advise anyone to see what this cutie transforms into when it comes to battle. It turns from an angel into a chthonic beast. Its head splits in 2, and 3 tentacles come out of each half. It grabs the terrified sea butterflies with them. In short, the spectacle is not for the faint-hearted. So to take a breath from all these angels and butterflies, let's check out an ordinary sea cucumber that was found deep in the Pacific Ocean. What do you say? This creature is also predatory and terrifying in its own way? What's the matter? Is there anything cute and fluffy in the deep? Sea cucumbers, despite its harmless name, is a very ancient class of echinoderms which lived before the appearance of man when dinosaurs walked the earth. But the most interesting thing about it is not even that, but its defense process. When predator attacks, the sea cucumber ejects the back of its guts and aquatic lungs through its anus. The internal organs distract the predator, while the cucumber itself remains intact. Don't worry, the missing organs will grow back in just a month to a month and a half. Well, my pleas were finally heard, and scientists showed us this time a nice and harmless finding named Grimpoteuthis. This octopus with ears lives at a depth of about 3 miles, although you can encounter it even 1.2 miles deeper. In adulthood, this handsome, as a rule, does not exceed 8 inches in length. By the way, Mother Nature invented such a nice body not only to please my desire, but also to prevent it from crushing at great depth. In addition, its giant eyes catch the slightest sign of light, and its ears allow the octopus to literally float in the watery depths. Flying fish. Well, the name of the next creature found in the ocean speaks for itself. It's a flying fish, a creature that can soar over the ocean and fly up to 1,300 feet. It's hard to believe, but the fish really can do it. The things you have to do to escape marine predators, am I right? To maintain altitude, the fish periodically touches the surface of the water with its tail to gain speed. It's believed that during flight, these fish move at a speed of up to 43 to 50 miles an hour. Stargazer. I can tell you this about this underwater demon. It bites, it's poisonous, and it can also electrocute you. Simply put, it's best not to mess with it. In addition, these fish are still very poorly studied. People don't know anything about their toxins, for example. Dugong. And this is the sea cow, which is listed in the Red Book as a vulnerable species. Do not think that nothing will happen from the disappearance of this creature. If anyone's not aware, it's incredibly useful in the world's oceans. This kind and lazy underwater vacuum cleaner devours all aquatic vegetation, good and bad, with incredible ease. What's surprising, the dugong fattened up to such an incredible size on the grass alone and stopped worrying about other predators. They simply don't risk being attacked. And then you ask me, why is it in the Red Book? Turns out it's all down to some nasty parasites. The poor dugong probably has no idea that someone is infiltrating its body and eating it from the inside out. Even if the creature knew that, it could hardly do anything about it. After all, even people who study the ocean, many of the creatures they meet at great depth are new. Sometimes you meet such a strange blue slime and think, what do we do with it? Either it's harmless or can send to glory all living creatures in the area indiscriminately right now. For the sake of the truth, there are clearly kind creatures under the water, like this Casper octopus. It has this nickname because of its appearance, resemblance to a famous character. Casper was found at a depth of 2.5 miles near Hawaii. Scientists were struck by several differences between the individual and its relatives. For example, the octopus had no fins, and all the suction cups were located in a single row on each limb. And here's another strange fish that lives a little closer to the surface, but still far away. This is a ghost fish from a depth of 1.2 miles. It's pale, almost completely transparent, and has bulging, glowing eyes. It has underdeveloped muscles and gills, and its spine is only partially bony. This is only a small part of what scientists have learned about it. Perhaps soon we'll learn something even more amazing. Flying spaghetti monster. You've probably already imagined some creature from a legend. You'd think I'm going to tell you a story and not give you video evidence, but that's not the case. The flying spaghetti monster, or something very much like it, was found off the coast of Angola. I'll tell you more, scientists have hypothesized what it really is, and its name is siphonophore. Siphonophores are among the simplest of the multicellular organisms. In fact, each such organism is a colony of individual, specialized hydras. The most famous of the siphonophores is, of course, the spectacular and deadly poisonous bluebottle, aka the Portuguese man-of-war. However, this monster also belongs to a rare species of siphonophores, about which nothing is known yet. Firework jellyfish. If we could give orders to Mother Nature to create living things and ask her to create a firework jellyfish, it'd look like this. This amazing animal was found in the depths of the ocean, and people still can't figure out what it really is. The discovery was made at a depth of about a mile near the coast of Mexico. Notable is the fact that only thanks to researchers, the jellyfish can boast a variety of colors of its body. At such great depths, there's not enough light to distinguish the color of the jellyfish with the naked eye. Sheepshead wrasse. Let me put it this way. The name of the following fish does not correspond to its appearance at all. The name sounds normal and adequate, but the creature looks strange, to put it mildly. This weirdo from Japan is absolutely not afraid of people and often encounters local divers despite all the offensive nicknames in its address. Locals have already nicknamed their new friend, very simply, Underwater Shrek, and this is still, as I think, a great compliment. Ascidians. And here's another brainchild of underwater expeditions. This time not so terrible, but at the same time not yet studied at all. All that can be said about this monster is that it's a kite called Ascidian. There's no more precise information or even speculation from scientists on the subject. Lyre sponge. Those familiar with music have already heard in the name of the following creature a stringed, plucked instrument. As you can imagine, it was in its honor that this sponge was named. It was found at a depth of about 2 miles. It turned out that the sponge lyre is attached to the seafloor with the help of special organs similar to roots. It has several arms located parallel to the sea surface. Several vertical branches with tips extend from them, resembling small spades at a closer look. The largest of all found individuals of this species was almost 24 inches in length, and it was found in 2012. Since then, these monsters have hardly been seen. But one that's definitely real is the cosmic worm in the following story. A research vessel found a giant creature from the siphonophores on the bottom of the ocean we've talked about before. It looked like a single organism, but it was hardly so. Most likely it was a colony of small creatures whose total length exceeded 400 feet. It was bad luck for the fish that were in the vicinity. The chance of encountering this predator was incredibly high. Google Maps is a great tool that allows you to explore the world from the comfort of your own home. One time you can move right into the street of your favorite city. Another time you can look into the desert, and the next time you can move right into the sea and find a mysterious monster. Who's in this picture? That's something people don't know to this day. We can only see that waves of an incredible size are coming from it, which means that this giant itself is far from weak. What do you think it is? Could it be Kraken or Cthulhu? Our next amazing creature found underwater are called sea pickles or pyrosomes. They belong to the order of tunicates from the salp class. Once encountered, no diver will ever forget it. After all, many compare the brightness of these extraordinary creatures with that of the full moon. Just imagine how this bright organism drifts somewhere at midnight in the ocean. Isn't it beautiful? You don't even want to learn anything about it. You just have to look at it and admire its appearance. The origin of the history. Many people think that the strongest underwater creatures are whales or sharks. Yes, both of these sea creatures are quite large and at the same time powerful, but believe me, compared to the one I'm going to talk about, they're completely harmless and not dangerous. The main predator in the water, if you believe the legends and stories of all sailors, is the Kraken, the giant cephalopod on the basis of which movies and video games are being made today and books are being written. We're having fun and we don't see any problem in this, but is everything really so calm? The famous history of the Kraken began in 1751, when a rather popular publication described a certain monster of the depths that fishermen encountered. The creature, also called a krax or a crab, has never really emerged due to its enormous size and mostly underwater existence. But the details that the author of the article gathered had led him and other readers to believe that the monster exists. Local fishermen said this giant appeared especially often on hot summer days. It was said to show only a small part of its mighty body to everyone. Due to ignorance, people didn't know what to expect from it and seriously thought that it posed no danger. On the contrary, fishermen, at first, consciously swam straight to the Kraken because usually quite a lot of fish gathered under it, which could not but please greedy people. However, such joy didn't last long. Very soon, people realized that it's better not to mess with it. This big creature began to react aggressively to every boat that tried to steal its prey from under its nose. The giant squid grabbed the boats with its huge tentacles and didn't let them go. Once in its tentacles, people had no choice but to jump overboard and hope that they'd be able to swim away from there on a lifeboat. Fortunately, some still managed to make their legendary escape. They arrived at the shore, and the first thing they did, with frightened, simply nightmarish faces, was talking to the residents about what happened. As it usually happens, rumors spread instantly, and very soon almost the whole world knew about the legendary Kraken. But despite this, the Kraken suddenly became much more secretive. It didn't appear so openly in front of fishermen, and at some point it was as if it disappeared from the face of the earth altogether. At least that's what the very adventurers who had been searching for the monster for decades thought. The search continued until 1861 when the French went to Guyana. The paradox is that these sailors didn't even think to look for anyone, but luck smiled on them, although rather it turned away from them. During the voyage, one of the sailors shouted, "I see an unknown giant carcass right ahead. Captain, what do you want me to do?" The excited sailors immediately went on deck to see what their colleague was talking about. Unfortunately for many, it was the Kraken, the very monster that every self-respecting sailor knew about, but mentally didn't want to encounter it. The venturesome Frenchman immediately entered into a heated argument. Some argued that it was an overturned boat. Others thought that it was a giant bundle of seaweed piled up in front of the ship. Still others said that it was probably the body of a horse that had fallen from the deck of some vessel. The fourth suggested that it was not a horse but just a barrel, but there was a fifth, real version. The ship's captain didn't fall for the theories of his colleagues. He realized that they had probably stumbled upon the legendary Kraken. It was impossible to miss this opportunity, so he ordered to sail closer to the giant. But humans, as I've already mentioned, can be greedy. Seeing the monster is not enough for them. They want to catch it to get worldwide fame and become incredibly rich. That's why the captain of the ship ordered his sailors to pull out their cannons and start shooting at the monster. Such actions didn't lead to anything good. The 3-hour battle only took pieces of the ship with it, as well as some of the crew members. Along with this, it felt as if Mother Nature itself was against this capture. The unexpected bad weather, which raised the waves too high, made it difficult to catch the animal. Despite the fact that no one was caught, the men still struck one last blow. One of the harpoons hit the target. It went straight into the jelly body, and the frightened animal spewed out a mass of liquid ink, and a strong odor of musk wafted around. The sailors threw a noose on the beast, but their joy was premature. A powerful wave threw the ship back and pulled the harpoon out of the beast's body. As a result, the Kraken disappeared, and the men were left without prey. This incident gained another strong resonance, during which many famous writers learned about the incident. Jules Verne himself was under the impression, 8 years later. He made this case on the basis of one of the adventures experienced by the crew of Captain Nemo on the Nautilus submarine. What's most interesting is that his stories were based on real events, which almost everyone believed. After that crazy 3-hour battle, the monster left its tail to the people as a souvenir, which became the only and at the same time irrefutable proof. What happened to the Kraken next? It seems that this is where its story should have ended. I mean that people could have organized drives, some large expeditions, explored the underwater world, found new data about the crazy monster and so on, but none of this happened. Or rather, there was research, but the results left much to be desired. Despite this, the Kraken increasingly began to move from books about mythical creatures to scientific works. It went so far that the monster, which eats whales, destroys ships in a few blows, and has no growth limits, was placed among other cephalopods. Sailors said that they often confused this squid with an entire island, and if it didn't like something, it was able to create a full-fledged whirlpool and destroy even a string of ships. You have to admit that when everyone is saying about such a mighty monster, the excessive data makes you doubt them. Eventually, that's exactly what happened. People began to laugh at those who spoke of the existence of some Kraken. The only compromise scientists have made is that they've identified a new genus of deep-sea squid that is real and at the same time is quite large. It's called the Architeuthis. It's one of the largest squids in the world at the moment. Finally, it was possible to make sure that the giant squid is not another fiction of sailors in 1861. 1941. At that time, the sailors of the French ship found part of the dead animal and brought it to the mainland for study. It was no longer an incomprehensible tale, but a full-fledged part of the squid, so no one doubted the reliability of the data. Although it was not as large as the kraken, its size was also surprising. The animal could weigh several hundred pounds and be up to 50 feet long. The diet of the cephalopod includes deep-sea fish as well as other squid species. When hunting, Architeuthis catches its prey using suction cups located on its tentacles. After capturing the prey, the squid sends it to its long beak, where it's crushed by the radula, tongue covered with small teeth. After that, the food passes into the esophagus. It's believed that this monster hunts alone. It doesn't need any help. That's all, guys. Which creature did you find most frightening? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you later.